Oh, for me, everybody's a fighter. To me, I see everybody the same because we're all trying to learn something. We're all trying to gain an experience. But it's what experience you gain when you come here. And for me, it's the people that come to the academy, my students, that make this place so special. Grew up watching Samurai Sunday, watching Bruce Lee movies and Jackie Chan and all that stuff. And I always seen that there was always, this one guy that was a small guy, but after years of training and dedication, he became, really good at martial arts and was able to not just defeat his opponents, but take care of his people, and I admire that. I grew up watching boxing with my dad, Cesar Chavez and Duran and stuff like that, and to see those fighters walk out and see my dad, shed a tear for the first time in his life because the guy was gonna fight and it made him feel proud. I kind of wanted to invoke that in my family and my friends and my people. So I pursued martial arts since I was real young, but it was hard finding a place in the Harvard that taught, mixed martial arts or boxing or something like that. So first UFC came out, I was like 12, 13. I fell in love with Royce Gracie, but there was no jiu-jitsu out here. I had to be able to get old enough and make enough money to be able to save and go to Brazil or to find an instructor for jiu-jitsu. So till then, I started training in kickboxing. And as I started fighting, my first fight I won in 10 seconds. After that, I knew I was gonna do this for the rest of my life. And I started fighting every month. And in the old days, there was no weight classes. It was like 160 and under, 155 and under. That was the lightweight class. So it was like a big swing. I was 130 pounds. So I had to weigh in and put quarters in my pockets or a taco or something like that. And I would weigh with my clothes on. It was just a different time. It was illegal in Illinois, in Chicago. And there was no commission to sanction the fights because in the old days, there was no doctor check, there was no glove check, the weigh-ins were kind of fishy. So all those promoters from Chicago, they came to Indiana. They came to Hammond, Indiana, and that's where I was fighting already. So they had their talent from Chicago, but they wanted somebody local that had a good following, and I was the skinny Mexican guy that would do that. And from there, I got a huge exposure. I started the first fight of the night, second fight, fourth fight, 10th fight, main event. And after so many different promoters would pick me up on the shows, I got called by the UFC to fight in the WC, and I was their champ for 2 years. And then after that, I went to the UFC, and after UFC, I fought maybe 6 other promotions. And I retired, I think, 2017, and I've been teaching ever since. The experience that I survived and I'm able to enjoy all those memories I created, I get to help other people do for themselves. What great life, what other great life can I have? No amount of money and no amount of gold or whatever can amass what I feel when I come into this building. I come in, I shake everybody's hands. I get to have a word with everybody, and I get to meet you on your first day when you don't know anything. And then after the first month, 2 or 3 other guys come in and they don't know anything, and now you have a little more confidence because you know more than them. Because if you train consistently, you're gonna get in shape, you're gonna learn technique, you're gonna learn what's going on, you're gonna have knowledge. Your confidence grows, and to see that guys walk in with their shoulders down and their head down, and for me, that's the first step, just coming in the door. And once they're in the door and they get their gloves on, they put their gi on and they get on the mat, everything else takes care of itself. And again, most people are nervous and they're scared, they're not sure. And once they get in that door and they meet that I'm not, some crazy psycho or, everybody here is not gonna try to kill them and try to actually help them and help them grow because that helps themselves grow at the same time. It creates a bond, I call it my gym family, my second family. And it's so powerful that, everyone else feels it too. I just know so many people from this area. I grew up here, so many friends, my family's here. I'd be lonely if I was somewhere in California or somewhere in Texas or somewhere in Florida where they weren't here. My heart wouldn't be there. My heart would still be here. So for me, my kids are here, my parents are here. I'm gonna be here too. I'm gonna help this community out and I'm gonna do the best that I can. That whole time that I was training for fights, wherever I went all over the world, there was always people that were way more in better shape. They were way better in different ways, but they didn't have that little spark. But then I would look at the academy they went to and the instructors they had, and they wouldn't fan that flame to grow that spark. I've trained kids that were 6. They're now 24, 25, and they have their own kids, and they'll come back to the gym. They're passing by and see the sign, or they know I'm here, and just to give me a good word. Or they were training in this, and then got into wrestling, and they got into football, and then their life's blossom, but their goal in the beginning of starting this was to gain confidence. And once they got that confidence and that the ability to be able to defend themselves, they were able to go forward and like go into other avenues of life they would have never went into if they were never trained here. And to hear those stories, you know, countless times, kind of gives me a sense of purpose. You know, like I'm not just making money, punching a clock and sitting down typing, you know, I'm doing something that's actually helping the community. Because they're gonna help their kids, they're gonna help their friends, they're gonna help their family. People are gonna notice a change in them and ask them, hey, you know, I seen you lost some weight, I see you're walking different, you know, I like how you're speaking different, and then they'll tell them where that's coming from, and it leads back to the academy. The experience is everything. The records are fickle. People know you. I was one of the pound-for-pound best fighters in the world for 2 years. And they were trying to get me to pick a fight with Mayweather for about a year. And I was in lines with Anderson Silva and Fedor Emelianenko. They were like light heavyweight and heavyweight fighters. You know, and I was a 135-pounder. And to me, it was like the greatest high you can have. Everybody knows your name. You can't go to BW3s, you can't go to Hooters, you can't watch the fight somewhere because people are gonna just bombard you the whole time. And once all that finished, once that limelight was over, everybody forgets who you are. You get recognized every now and then, but it's a little, you know, I used to watch you when I was, you know, a kid. And those titles don't mean anything anymore. Those belts don't mean anything anymore. That money's long gone and spent. So what's left after the fight? You know, the experience. The experience you have not even, the fight wasn't even hard. It was a training camp. Because every day in the morning I would get up, come to the gym, I'd work out for an hour, go in the cage, spar for about an hour, hour and a half, and I'm sparring 10 different guys. And in the old days I was crazy, there was no timer, and there was no water breaks. All those experiences, all those fights I had before the actual fight, that built brotherhoods, that severed relationships, that did so many things in my life, that experience was the most important thing in my life. Because without those experiences, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. The titles and the money and all the other stuff doesn't mean anything to me. It's the experiences that I had while I was amassing those things. The people that I met, the lives that I touched and that touched me, that's what's important.